Hi, so today I'm taking a more tangential look, I guess you could say, at media rather than a specific analysis of a piece. More of perhaps a cultural analysis, I guess you could say. Now, you've probably read the video title, so yes, this is the culture of celebrity death, or the cult of celebrity death, I guess you could say. Because it is quite prevalent, particularly over the last sort of 18 months or so. 2016 was a big year for celebrity deaths. And, recently we've had the passing of Chester Bennington, and all the stories about that, that's really sort of brought it back into my mind. Because it is quite weird, just on the surface of it, before I look into it deeply and break it down, it is weird. We give our outpourings of grief and sadness, and okay, sympathy for the family, that's good, that's respectful. But why? It's something that perhaps during 2016 in particular, I and many others probably also were getting quite jaded, I guess, and almost cynical, which, if these people are having a genuine emotional response because they felt that, the work had touched their lives in such a way, that's kind of wrong, treading on people's right to feel. It's very wrong, and it's a dangerous path to be heading down, kind of denying people, as I say, their emotional rights. But, as I say, with the most recent edition, if you will, it's really brought it back into my mind, and I've been sort of going the past few days, particularly, breaking down my thoughts on it. My analytical brain has been fired. So, I think the best way to look at it is to look at all sides and say, well, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it weird? And like I say, I've got arguments on both sides, and I think I'm probably in the middle ground. But, let me outline my points and see what you think. So, like with anything, let's start with the negative and end on a high. So the first big one for me, I think, really, was, you don't know these people. I mean, yes, there are people who are like family friends or, old school friends who they're still in touch with who obviously do know them, but they're not the kind of people who tend to go on Facebook and say, I really feel for you. They're going to do it in person. Or any social media, of course. So it seems a bit strange. Like, if you see a friend of yours saying, oh, my grandmother's passed, you don't just turn up to the funeral, or, you don't sort of offer massive outpourings of grief. You just offer general sympathy, and some of the social media posts about celebrities are that as well, so that's fine. That's not crossing the boundaries. But we don't do it to people who we don't know. We don't just turn up at random to a crematorium or such, and offer our condolences to the family there. That would be strange. That, to most people, would be seen as an invasion of privacy, and perhaps at least a mild infringement on their dignity, to be grieving in that time. They want, or most people want, to have some time to deal with that on their own terms. So, when there's massive social media outpourings, those closest to these celebrities don't get that opportunity. They don't get that window that the rest of us are afforded in a lot of cases. Like I say, it's very sweet, and I understand the motives for it, but we'll get to that in the positives, I think. But I think it is quite strange. It's one of the things that's really sat with me. It's really weird. It's why, even, with the Linkin Park thing, I've not posted, I'm going to be listening to X, Y, or Z song, on repeat for the next few months. I mean, I may, but I don't need to spread it out there. There are people who I've seen sort of saying that they're blasting In the End on repeat. But why? Why do we need to tell the world this? I mean, again, if that's how they're dealing with it, okay, but again, why tell the world? But talking about these specific songs, especially in this more recent case, has brought me to my second negative point, if you will. And that's bandwagoning. This one's just abhorrent even now, even with me sort of looking at it, more objectively. This one is still abhorrent to me, because whilst the first one does perhaps come from a good place, it comes from a place of caring and compassion. Bandwagoning is, look at me, look how good I am, look at how I'm bothered by this, I'm a feeling, emotive human being too. Look at me. That's what it is. It's me. It's the ego at play. you know, when it's literally just bandwagoning. And the reason that this is sort of led on from, if you will, the specific tracks, you know, I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to blast in the end on repeat. Not necessarily people I directly know, things that I've seen shared. And to me, that's just, well, you obviously don't know the vast back catalogue. Choosing one of the real big ones. I mean, okay, that could be your favourite song, but it seems a bit strange. To me, Shadow of the Day is perfect. It's got a maudlin tone anyway. It's kind of fitting, and it's just a really beautiful song. That would be my choice, because I know more than just, you know, Hybrid Theory. But that's really, like I say, bandwagoning to me is just abhorrent. And in most situations, not just celebrity deaths, but a lot of situations where people are just saying, well, I want the attention too. But sometimes, like I've said, there are good reasons, there are positives to it. And whilst, you know, yes, you know, you may not know these people directly, if a particular song or a particular film or a particular series, you know, or the entire body of work of a particular actor has been so informative to your character, to your sense of self, then you kind of do know them. In a roundabout way, they may well be a piece of you. And whilst you may not have the clearance, if you will, to go and say directly to the family or such, you know, like, I'm really sorry for your loss, he's meant so much to me, or she's meant so much to me, you know, whilst you can't do that, maybe that's the best thing that you can do, or the next best thing for you. And I think in those moments when they, you know, these people have truly touched you in a deep emotional way, I think that's kind of okay. And you can tell the difference between, like, the bandwagoners and the empty, just general, oh, I'm so sorry, to the people who really care, because they're often succinct, they're to the point. You know, just a little, you'll be missed, you know. Like, when I found out about Philip Seymour Hoffman, it was just, I'm really upset by that. You know, I respected him very much as an actor. I could see the chart of his abilities, if you will. I could see how he progressed, and it was really saddening to me. It was more saddening than most. I will actually say, weirdly, as a musician first, that I was more touched by that than Bowie. It sounds strange in a lot of ways, but I was more touched by that than Bowie. Bowie, I was like, oh no, that's sad. There's some really good, like, films he's been in. He was great as you know, Philip Jeffries, and his music I love, but it didn't touch me in the same way. Robin Williams, because I knew of his struggles with similar issues to what I go through, that touched me in a deep way. I don't know if I mentioned it, or again I might have just given like a one-word sentence, because there's no need to put paragraphs and paragraphs of how much they've touched you. If they have, just saying I'm sad is enough. So yeah, you know, these outpourings can have a positive, and this is what I was thinking with Chester. You know, when I was performing live, you know, I've performed you know, a Linkin Park track a number of times, and there is that link, and I think that's why it came into my head, because something that he had a part of, something that he made, was an important part of my life. It was part of my career, really. And I think I was affected. Again, not as much as Philip Seymour Hoffman. I was just, wow, that's unexpected. I haven't posted anything about it aside from mentioning it in this video, because I don't feel the need, even though I do have a direct tie to it. But my first concern was, you know, just make sure that the family are okay. And I think that's the important takeaway. What this analysis has done for me, what sort of thinking about it for the past few days and the past 18 months has really given me is an insight into, okay, well, it's okay to be sad. You know, you've lost the influence. I know people really loved Snape, you know, Alan Rickman, and obviously Galaxy Quest was amazing as well. You know, people loved people like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Bowie, etc. And we invite these people into our lives. Even if they can't see us, we can see them. We invite them in. And as long as we mean it, as long as we're true to ourselves and saying, like, I really care about this person, I'm sad that they are gone, that I will never hear anything new from them, I will never see anything new from them, and that we allow those closest to grieve appropriately, then it's fine. You know, months ago I'd have probably gone, stop doing it, it's just tacky and awful, but I've softened on it, and I do think that if it helps you, then yeah, grieve all you want, you know, make it public, but be respectful at the same time. So I'll be back with something more specific next week, so until then, as always, take care.